YouTube. Hello, YouTube. It's Sphere. We about to get started. I'm a little tardy for the party, but we are here. Let's get it going. Yes. Hello, hello, hello. Happy, tantalizing, terrific, triumphant Tuesday. It's a great day to have a great day, everybody. Um, just had to wait for all my cameras to come on. I wish I could do it simultaneously. Got to find a better program for me to do this. But I'm here. It's Real Estate Tuesday, people, and I'm here to educate you. Yes. If you don't know who I am, my name is Toria Howard. I am a real estate professional here in the beautiful city of Detroit and the surrounding areas, and I'm an educator. I call myself the real estate educator. Okay, RE with T is all of my monikers as well. But I call myself the real estate educator because being an educator has always been in my heart, and I've always been an educator. Even as a child, I was an educator. I used to teach my fellow classmates instead of copying off my paper. I used to teach them how to do it. So I will give them my paper. So I'm here to educate you on how to get up in this real estate game. So thank you for all of you for tapping in. I appreciate you. Today, we're talking about how lenders look at your bank account. Okay. So you're not broke. Your bank account just told a different story. So that's why when I help people with financial literacy, I tell them to look at their bank statements in order to uh, you know figure out how to do their budgets, because your bank statements are the ones that tell you the real truth. Sometimes we sit down and do our budgets and we don't tell ourselves the truth. We don't sit down and itemize every single thing we swiping, coming out, doing all the things. So that's what I instruct: get your bank statements and do your budget from there. So it's so important. I'm here to help first time home buyers with the things that they need to know before they go to the lender, so that you will be prepared and not get upset when you're denied, but come here to get prepared, right? So let's talk about it. So the first thing is, well, let me tell my story a little bit. I'm so passionate about this because I made the wrong moves and did the wrong things when I was a homeowner. I became a homeowner in 2010. I bought a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bathroom house, 2,700 square feet in Memphis, Tennessee. And I did all of the things to prepare myself to get in my house. But once I got in my house, thank you for joining me. Once I got in my house, I didn't do the proper things. And I didn't have a budget for emergency repairs. I did not take care of my home the way it needed to be. And I ended up having to sell my home in a short sale. So I basically gave away my house because everybody got paid but me. That's what a short sale means. And then I started learning real estate and realized I made one of the biggest, well, I learned one of the biggest lessons of my life, which is you have to be patient with real estate and with all aspects of your life, right? Patience has always been one of my character flaws, but God's still working on me. Um, but I learned how my house, I bought my house for 150. I sold it for 167. During the next year, COVID happened. My house jumped from 167 to 225. Then here come the next year. It went from 225 to 275 in 2021. 2022, it went to 300. 2023, it was $350,000. My house was worth. And I kicked myself so many times, like, why did I do that? Because at that time, by the time that happened, I'd have been able to have at least $200,000 once I sold it and moved back to Detroit. So I'm passionate about this because I want people to learn from the money lessons that I learned. Okay. So that's the reason why. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, I've been talking to a lot of people, and some people don't even have bank accounts. You got to have a bank account in order to buy a home. So I'm talking to people, first time home buyers, on what you need. First thing you need is a bank account. So if you don't have a bank account, then that's one of the things that you need to make sure that you have. Okay. So uh, make sure that you're understanding that that's one of the things that you need. I don't know why they keep pinning the wrong link, but anyway, I'll fix that later. So a lot of people I've talked to don't even have a bank account. Bank account is essential because they see your habits in your bank account. So first things first, your bank account is a financial report card for you. When you go into the lenders and you're talking to the lenders, that is your financial report card. So you basically have two. You have your um, credit report, which is your financial report card, and then you have your bank account. Both of those two things tell the tale of your money habits. So lenders are using your last 60 to 90 days of bank statements to verify stability, spending habits, sources of income, and risk level. So if your statements are inconsistent, they raise red flags. So you got to make sure that things are consistent. So for example, if you get a $5,000 grant deposited on the 15th and by the 25th you've withdrawn most of it on shopping, DoorDash and Cash App transfers, that's a red flag for responsible money management. Just understand, a whole lot of deposits and a whole lot, like you have great, you have a lot of deposits, but if the withdrawals, okay, if the withdrawals is more than the deposits, that becomes a problem, becomes a red flag. The second thing is deposits must be traceable, right? So random cash deposits can delay underwriting because they got to figure out where this money is coming from. And then lenders want a paper trail. So grants, W-2 income, payroll, assisted programs, child support, alimony, all of that has a paper trail. Tax income, income tax refunds, things of that nature. All of that has a paper trail. But if you just having random cash deposits, that's a red flag. So a buyer receives $7,500. So I would say, for example, a buyer receives $7,500 from Michigan First Time Home Buyer Assistance Program because it was wired directly and matched the award letter. The underwriter cleared it quickly. So that's the thing. It has to match. Excuse me. It has to make sense. It has to have a paper trail. It has to come from some source. So having these random cash deposits might send up a red flag. You might have to write letters to tell the lender as far as where this money is coming from, and you don't want to have these discussions. The third thing is avoid cash app overload and Zelle ping pongs. Okay, so multiple peer-to-peer payments can confuse underwriters. Like, why are you transferring so much money? They want to know, is this borrowed money, a loan, or business revenue? So you're going to have to answer a lot of questions. And if you don't like answering a lot of questions, make sure that your finances are in order. Okay. So make sure that you're not randomly just depositing things and having people send you things on random. So for example, a buyer used their business cash app to transfer money to their account. The lender flagged it because it's undocumented income and requested tax returns. So you don't want to have things where they have to question and you have to come up with extra documentation. That's the point. Make sure that your finances are on the up and up. So the fourth thing is layered grants, right? That's the question. Yes, but you have to clean it up. So layering down payment assistance is smart, but the paper trail must be flawless. So it has to make sense on the source where in which it's coming from. So you need to make sure that you're keeping your award letters, your disbursement timelines, your bank receipts. Make sure that you're keeping these things. So for example, the Detroit buyer used the MSHDA, that's MSHDA, $10,000 grant, and the city's $25,000 Joe Louis Green incentive. Because her bank account showed exact match deposits with matching letters. She was approved with zero out of pocket. So it has to match. Long as there's a paper trail, it's fine as long as it matches, right? So the fifth thing is avoid red flags and withdrawals. Frequent overdrafts, non-sufficient funds, NFS charges, and daily ATM withdrawals. These behaviors show lenders patterns of instability, even if your credit score is high. So it doesn't matter if your credit score is low. If you show patterns of money, instability, that's a red flag. So you need to make sure that you are, being on the up and up with, frequent overdrafts, insufficient funds, and withdrawing, constantly. So a tip would be to separate home savings accounts to keep assistance funds and reserves in a clean location. So you have to have several bank accounts to be able to, make sure things are looking clean. Make sure you having deposits go, if it's something that you're saving for your home, that go to a separate savings. Hopefully you can get it direct deposited from your employer, or if you are self-employed, just make sure that, you just know that this is business revenue that's getting transferred for savings. Make sure you're documenting everything. So I just wanted to let you know. So let's recap. Your bank account is one of your report cards that they're going to look at, because you have your bank account. Sometimes they ask for credit card statements. You have your tax returns and your credit report. All of those things are reports on you and your habits and your spending and all of the things that you're doing. So you don't want to show signs of instability, overspending, income coming in from places it is not recognized. There's no paper trail. You want to stay away from that. You want to make sure that you have if you get awarded grants for your first time home buyer assistance, that you keep the letters, if it's an email, if it's a letter, you keep these things and make sure that you are staying on top of it. And also, just making sure that you're not doing a whole lot of, and this is talking about for the 90 days that they're asking for. Okay, clean it up for the 90 days. After you get your home, do whatever you want to do. Hopefully you're gonna step up your financial literacy, but the facts are the facts. You have to be clean for those 90 days, doing whatever it is that you got to do to clean it up. So before you go to the lender, you have to have 3 months where your bank accounts are showing stability, your great spending habits, sources of income, and you're not being flagged for a higher risk, because you're spending a whole lot. Okay, so make sure that you're understanding that. No frequent overdrafts, no frequent NSF charges, and all the daily, ATMs. Get as much money out as possible at one time. Then, if you got to go back. So if you're doing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 withdrawals a week, that's a lot. So just take out one at one time, and then, use the money accordingly. And if you don't use all of it, then put it back. Nothing wrong with a deposit. Something wrong with the extra spending all over the place. So lenders are looking at your bank account. So let me tell you the documents that you're going to need. As a first-time home buyer, a lot of times you're going to need 3 months of bank statements, 3 months of check stubs, your W-2s, your 2 years of tax returns, and any income that you have that it can use for collateral. That can be child support, alimony. If you have, stocks and IRAs and life insurance, all of that is collateralized. Okay. All of that is collateralized. So make sure that you are doing your due diligence and making sure that you are telling the lender everything up front. Be honest with yourself first. Excuse me. Be honest with your realtor, and be honest with your lender, because if you try to hide anything, they're going to find it. The underwriters are like the FBI, CIA when it comes to money, and they're going to find it. So make sure that you are doing your best to keep it clean. That's it for me today. All right. So tune in next Tuesday for Real Estate Tuesday. I love being here. Next week I'll be talking about something on home ownership. Well, talking to homeowners. My talk will be on homeowners. So tune in. Even if you're a first-time home buyer, it can help you. So, do you want to be lender ready and learn how to use these grants effectively? Download my ebook. You can purchase my ebook, Journey to Your Castle, today. It's the ultimate guide for first-time home buyers. So, like, follow, share this live with a friend who is serious about home ownership. And if they're in the Detroit, if they're in the Detroit and surrounding areas, I would love to assist. Even if you're not in Detroit and surrounding areas, I can assist you in other places because I know real estate agents all across this country, lenders all across the country, because I network a lot. So with that being said, I bid you adieu. Everybody have an amazingly beautiful, blessed day. Look out for the home that I'm going to post later. So let me know what you think. Have an amazing day.
That was great.
Bye, YouTuber Sphere.